and created us with free will, intellect, faculty of knowing right from wrong, good from bad, and so on. And for a reason, not that we are here, we live, and then we die, and that's it. But purpose of our life is to then continue a life forever, either in a place of happiness and joy and bliss and tranquility we call paradise. I'm coming back. I'm going to link bone cancer with this question. It's important to understand. I haven't forgotten what you said. So, or we go to a place of eternal suffering and pain and misery and so on and so forth, right? Because of free will. Free will entails that some people will exercise it responsibly, wisely and justly and fairly, and other people will not. So they need to be accounted for, and their accountability will be in a punishment, and those who are good, they will be rewarded with good. So where does all this come in terms of bone cancer, malaria, tsunami and earthquakes and the things that you can bring in this question? It's all about God is saying, look, this life is actually a test, and within that test you have to demonstrate to yourself whether you are worthy and deserving to go to those two places. And for this test, to make it into a real test, there will be some loss of life and wealth and properties and so on and so forth, in which God will test us. God will test us even with, for example, laws and regulation to see whether are you really a believer and submitted to Him. For example, Muslim men cannot wear gold or wear silk. Now, people like
music, have dogs as pets.
People, in fact, some people like gold and silk and so on and so forth. But Muslim men are prohibited from it. So this is a layer of test in which are you really going to submit to the God and saying, okay, God, you have created me, given me life, and given me certain purpose in this life, and said these are the do's and don'ts, and if you fulfill these do's and don'ts, then this is the reward or punishment system awaits you. So part of this is this challenges in life in which we are said don't do this, as you said, don't drink alcohol, for example. And in fact, just to come back on the side point, I'll come back to bone cancer. Remind me if I forget, right, please, Please remind me if I forget about bone cancer. About alcohol, when God prohibits us from something, it's actually good for us. God, out of all dietary stuff, what we can eat and drink, He only prohibits only a few things. All the rest of the things are okay. Okay, you can have it. Few things He prohibits, and it tells us things are which were not good for us, not pure, not good for us, He prohibited from. For example, alcohol, the chemical poison that we're supposed to drink, ethanol. What it does, it actually impairs your judgment. And if I want to give some statistics from UK, the most of the domestic violence happens under the influence of alcohol. The people, I work in a hospital, so now you realize why I'm talking about these statistics. In A&E, domestic violence, people come because they're under the influence of alcohol. So alcohol has a lot of problem causing. It might give you certain immediate pleasure, doesn't it? Alcohol you drink, it makes you, and it gives you something like, because you forget about it, because of what's happened, that it does. Islam tells us, look, the reason why some things are prohibited from it, of course, ultimately it's not good for you, even though there might be some goodness in it. But the ultimate good and bad, when you outweigh them, the evil, the bad, outweighs the good. So God says, not good for you.
There are lots of
Coming back to
there are lots of other things that are forbidden that I would argue are not.
Give me an example, then we can talk about it. But we're going to talk about bone cancer, but give us examples.
What's the issue with pork?
Sure. So,
Like dogs being.
Where'd you guys get
no. It's not about.
the sweetest animal.
It's not about. Do you eat worms?
Huh?
Worms.
I mean,
Some people do.
it was fried up.
Maybe
Okay.
I'd give it a go.
But you don't normally. You haven't made into. What about cockroaches?
I've eaten insects in Thailand, they were not tasty.
Do you eat cockroaches? Right. So there are certain things people themselves have restricted, depending
I don't
on.
tell anyone they shouldn't be allowed to eat cockroaches. That's very different. Saying
I know.
and saying somebody else is forbidden.
No,
Very
fair enough.
different. I don't agree with.
No,
eating other
that's fair enough. But what I'm saying is, our Creator, who created us, knows us better than we know ourselves. So He told us there are things that you should avoid, like eating, out of these few reasons, blood, dead animals.
Yeah.
So animals that has claws and so on and so forth, right? And of course that includes pork, pig or pork, whatever you call it. So you can see animals that has claws.
cloven hoof.
Yeah. So
Cows have a cloven hoof.
no, they don't have claws. Oh, you haven't seen a cow?
I mean, I know that they have a full hoof, and I guess what is it? The split? Is it the split that you have in a pig?
Yeah, he's talking
versus
about-
No. Pig is not because of claws. I am saying the categories that the Creator's given us prohibitions of.
They seem kind of.
Can we talk about this one?
Jews, they don't eat prawns and shellfish.
Sure. So let's talk about this.
Why the Shia
Look.
Muslim don't eat rabbits?
Fair enough.
Because
It does seem a little bit like this animal.
that's it.
You know what I mean? Like-
Yeah. I will answer if you are listening. Yeah. So the dietary prohibition comes from the all-wise God, who knows what is better for us and what's not.
The
Okay.
rabbit is not good.
I am not going to be able to answer if you are not able to listen.
Yeah, but the Jews this received.
Do you know what you're doing?
From God.
My friend, do you know what you're doing?
Sorry.
No.
Jews-
Don't say sorry and keep on talking.
The Torah was revealed by God according to the Jews.
I think this man has let finish his point.
What
I think he has a fair point.
what
though.
I'm
He's
saying
the
is-
same thing just from a different angle.
No.
What's the
What
difference?
I'm saying, I'm about to answer his questions, and he needs to listen. Like you are listening, like a real gentleman and a real lady.
We only got a few more minutes.
I know you do. We haven't got all times, neither have I, right? So, dietary restrictions are given for a reason, some of which the wisdom we may know and may be provided, other may not be provided, for example. So if our Creator doesn't provide a reason, we know in general that there is a good reason for it. Like, for example, God gives the reasons why about pork, okay? Because it's not something that is, it's najas, it's like filthy, okay?
The chicken is
So,
najis as well.
oh, please, listen. If you were not accustomed to eating pork, for example, you would study the animal, look at the animal, how the animal lives. It lives in almost like in sewages, and the way it eats and feeds on all the sewages and eats the feces and so on. No, it eats its own feces and so on. You know what I'm saying is, so what the Creator said, look, there are hundreds and thousands of other creation that God has made, that you can eat of them. Don't eat of those things which will have some kind of effect on you, okay? So you may not realize this because it's a culture, it's a tradition. People have been eating pork for hundreds and thousands of years. And in fact, coming back to your question, Islam didn't prohibit pork as a new thing. It was already a prohibition from God to the Jewish people, long time ago. Yeah, and they still to this day they don't eat pork. Okay, right? It's still to this day. So, and various others. So something could be prohibited as a test to see whether you actually follow the commands of God or not, or you really say and you don't mean it. Do you actually mean it when you say, "Oh, I submit"? Submission needs to be demonstrated with your limbs, with your actions. So, some things God has provided reasons. Other things, if the reasons are provided, we can still know that they are not good for us. Okay? Bone cancer. Let's come back to that.
Yes.
What's wrong? What did the child do?
Yeah, what test is this for?
Well, no. What did the child do? We said child didn't do anything. This child will have its own way of getting into heaven or not by God's justice in the day of judgment. God is not going to be unjust to a child who has not developed the faculty of intellect, knowing good or bad.
That is unjust.
No. What I'm saying, this child having this suffering now is a test for the parents and the families.
If he hasn't got
Look,
parents.
what you don't realize is this.
He's in
Okay, you can disagree, but think about this. If, for example, I want to go to a gym and I want to build a body with my muscles, I have to endure some suffering, pain. Now that pain will give me some gain.
Damn right.
At the end of the day. So that pain is not a bad thing necessarily. No.
You can justify your own suffering.
No, please. I will talk about the child in a second. So this pain that one undergoes, it's not necessary. In fact, pain in general is actually a good thing to have.
Pain, no gain.
If there was no pain, imagine now, I put my hand in behind and the fire was consuming a hand, it burnt. Let me finish. And my hand is all burnt up to the shoulder. I didn't realize it because I had no pain. It would be bad for me. So when I have a pain and I put my hand in a hot stuff or fire, I will retract because it's telling me something is not good for me. So pain is good for me, right?
Yeah.
Right. A child, when it suffers, it's not good for the child. I agree with you. But what am I saying is this: that child, for that, you're not really like a gentleman like them. Try to be a gentleman like them. Yeah?
I'm answering your question.
Try to be a gentleman like them. Okay, look, I'm not being racist, but I'm being vocally straight and blunt. Try to be a gentleman like them. So, I am saying try to be a gentleman like them. So let me continue. The child, because you might say so, because you're not white like them.
I don't say nothing.
Okay, see you later then. Thank you. See you later.
I'm staying.
Then let me continue because they haven't got much time. The child, what I'm saying is, the amount of pain that child endures here will be nothing compared to the joy of paradise God is going to give them. Like this example, the people will be, this is a demonstration. Our Prophet said that. Someone said, look, you've suffered all this in this world, right? You've seen the good and the bad and so on. God will dip them for a moment in paradise and bring them back, and God will ask them, did you feel any suffering? You know what they will say? One dip on heaven in paradise, they will say, we never experienced any suffering. Never. Because that's the intensity and the quality of happiness, joy and bliss that awaits in heaven. So those people who will undergo suffering in this life, when they go to heaven, they will forget all of that.
There's a lot of trust in this thing. It's all just over there.
No.
You can't go there.
This
and come back. No one else can check and come back to you.
My friend.
Over there. It's all going to be sweet. Don't worry.
No.
Let's go there.
No, my friend. This is
I'll come back and drop you a phone.
No. What I'm saying is, this is what we believe in the justice of God. But in terms of why we believe is where the evidence comes in. You can't just believe because this guy in Speaker's Corner who talked about, in the conversation about your grandfather suddenly says believe in it. You can't believe in like that. You have to believe based on what makes sense to you and what evidence is satisfactory to you. So that's why we say, when we as Muslims talk about this belief, we say, look, God has sent from His mercy and justice a scripture, a book of guidance, along with raising a prophet, a messenger, to convey this guidance in a way that people could understand and appreciate. So last prophet, being the last prophet and messenger, his name is Muhammad, upon him be peace, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he brought the Quran. This Quran not only is a guidance, but a proof and evidence for its own guidance. That's what we are after, because if a book simply claims it's from God, why should I believe in it? Imagine the author of Harry Potter wrote, Harry Potter is from God. I wouldn't believe in it.
Listen, I appreciate you making your point, my man. Thank you so much for your time. Anyway, it was lovely talking to you.
Lovely talking to you as well. Nice talking to you. Perhaps we can talk again another time. Do you have a copy of the Quran? Have you ever read the Quran?
No, we don't.
I have one.
I have read some of it.
I have one. I can give it to you. Can I give another one? Because we could not.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for your time. You take care.
Yeah, thank you. I want to give you a copy. What I'm saying is, because we haven't talked about the proof and evidence for the Quran, let the Quran speak for itself. What's the evidence is in there?
Thank you.
All the best. Take care.